What's up, guys? It's week 10 of the NFL season, and by now we can finally start to make some playoff predictions. Before it was a little bit too early, but now I think we officially know enough about each team. We know enough about their strengths, about their weaknesses, what they're like as a team this year, to make an educated guess on who is going to make the playoffs this year. So if you guys are new to this channel, I'm primarily a Bears channel, but I'm going to be covering some, overall NFL content as well. So subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more of that. But let's get right into this video. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to give a seeding prediction of both the AFC and the NFC, and pretty much just tell you guys where I think where I think each team is going to be seeded, a general prediction of what the record might be, and I'm also going to predict which teams are barely going to miss the playoffs as well. So let's begin. So we're going to begin with the AFC, the weaker conference in football right now by far. I mean, if you look at the AFC, you don't see that many Super Bowl contenders as compared to the NFC. But let's begin with the AFC, and the number one seed in the AFC I have being the New England Patriots, which I have getting either 13 or 14 wins. They're at 7-2 right now. They're not first right now. The Chiefs are, but I fully expect the Patriots at the end of the season to regain the first spot just because of how dominant, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have been, like, their entire career. I mean, at this point, you can't pick against the Patriots. Like, it's stupid to do that. The rest of their schedule is it's not that hard, especially going up against the AFC East. You're not going to find that good competition there, and they don't really have that hard of a schedule left besides, the Steelers and the Vikings. So I expect the Patriots to be number one. Number two, I have been the Kansas City Chiefs, who are currently 8-1 right now, and I have them getting to 12 or 13 wins on the season. Patrick Mahomes is going to take them very far this season, but I still think that being a young quarterback, he's going to make some mistakes, later on. Right now, he's looked absolutely unstoppable, but I think the Mahomes mania, it might fade a little bit going into the second half of the season. They're still going to win a lot of games, but they have slightly tougher schedule left. They still have to play the Rams, they have to play the Chargers, which are a really good team, they have to play the Seahawks, but I still have them getting the number 2 seed, and they're going to be a very dangerous team come playoff time. Number 3 in the AFC, I have been the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are currently 5-2-1. I have them getting to 10 or 11 wins. The toughest, games under schedule left are probably the Panthers, the Patriots, and the Chargers. Oh, and they also play the Saints as well, so they have a pretty tough schedule, actually. But, I think they're going to get Le'Veon Bell back soon, which I don't care how good James Conner is. Getting Le'Veon Bell back, it's going to bring a whole nother dimension to this Pittsburgh offense. They're already pretty good with James Conner, but Le'Veon Bell is a top 2, top 3 running back in the NFL. And getting him back, it's going to elevate that offense to a new level, in my opinion. So, and their defense, it's been balling out recently. So the Steelers, I have been the number 3 seed. Number 4 seed, I have been the Houston Texans. They're currently 6-3. I have them getting to 9 or 10 wins. The toughest games on their schedule left are probably the Redskins and the Eagles. So they don't have that tough of a schedule. But, I don't want them. I'm not putting them with having too many wins because, I don't really trust their winning streak that much. They have a 6-game winning streak right now, but it's been against some bad competition. Now, obviously, I can't hate on that. 6-game winning streak is still a 6-game winning streak, so I'm not going to criticize them for that. But I think they're going to come down to earth a little bit, later on the season, but they're still going to win some games. They're still going to get to 9 or 10 wins and still be the number 4 seed in the AFC. Number 5 seed, the first wildcard spot, I have going to the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 6-2. I have them getting 11 or 12 wins, possibly even 13. I mean, the Chargers, if you guys haven't realized, the Chargers are a Super Bowl contender. They are a really, really good football team, but nobody talks about them. Like NFL Network, ESPN, like all these media sites, and even fans, they don't talk about the Chargers as serious contenders when they clearly are. I mean, if you have looked at their team, I've watched some of their games. They have something special going on offense and on defense. And they've been a pretty good team the past couple of years. It's just that they've just been beating themselves so much. And now this year they're finally starting to win games. They're starting to put it all together. Their only losses have been to the Rams and the Chiefs. So, they could very easily make the Super Bowl this year. And I have them being the number 5 seed just because the Chiefs are in their division. And, the Chiefs I have winning that division. So, Chargers, number 5. And number 6, the final spot in the AFC, I have going to the Baltimore Ravens. And that's going to be a controversial pick. People are going to want me to pick the Bengals, but no, I don't trust the Bengals at all this year. They have a good team, but getting blown out by that much on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, it just shows me that they're going to be a pretty good regular season team. They might make the playoffs, but I kind of trust the Ravens more at this point. Even though they're 4-5, they still have a pretty good defense. And out of all the remaining teams in the AFC, I probably trust them the most. Even though they're struggling right now on a losing streak, I have them riding the ship and getting to 9 or 10 wins and barely making the AFC playoffs. The teams that just missed, I have being the Bengals and the Miami Dolphins and maybe the Titans as well. These are teams that could probably make it. They'll probably get to, 8 or 9 wins, but they're barely going to miss out because of, some last-second losses. And, yeah, so that wraps up the AFC playoffs. Let's go to the NFC playoffs. So the NFC playoffs, this is where the fun is actually going to be because the NFC is clearly the stronger conference right now. It has been for a couple years, but this year especially. I mean, let's go to number 1. The number 1 seed in the NFC I have being the New Orleans Saints, who are currently 7-1. I have them getting the 13 or 14 wins. And, especially after the win against the Rams, I just don't see how this Saints team is going to lose that many games this year. They're just been dominating on offense, and their defense has not been that bad either. I mean, it's not the best, but it's still good enough for Drew Brees to win with. The talents the Saints have on offense, they have Alvin Kamara, they have Michael Thomas, they have Mark Ingram, they have Drew Brees with Sean Payton as coach. You can't really go against this team right now. I think this is going to be the best team in the NFC this year, and they could very easily reach the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And I have them being the number 1 seed in the NFC. Number 2 seed, in my opinion, is going to be the Los Angeles Rams, who are currently 8-1. I have them getting to 12 or 13 wins this year. They have a couple tough games left. They have the Chiefs and the Seahawks. And the Bears in Soldier Field, that's going to be a tough game as well. So I have them losing a little bit more, but not that much more. And I mean, when you look at their team, obviously they have the most talent in the NFL on both sides of the ball. But it's just that, chemistry in the NFL matters. And their secondary has not been as advertised. Marcus Peters has not been that good. But Todd Gurley has been an NFL MVP candidate. So, their offense is going to carry them very far. Their defense, when it gets into form, it's going to be very dangerous too. Especially with that godly defensive line. I mean, Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. So they're going to have success in the playoffs, but I have them being the number 2 seed in the NFC. The number 3 seed, which is going to be, again, another controversial pick, I have being my Chicago Bears, who are currently 5-3. I have them getting to 10 or 11 wins this year. And, guys, nobody respects us right now, and I don't blame you guys for not respecting us because we've been complete trash in the past couple years, and it's hard to, realize when a team is finally becoming good. But the Bears, if you guys haven't been watching their games, we have one of the best point differentials in the NFL. And point differential is a very good, indicator of how good a team is. You can say that a win is a win and a loss is a loss, but I disagree. Point differential in the NFL matters. If you beat your opponents by a lot and you lose to your opponents, by very little, you're a very good football team. And the Bears this year, they could have easily been 7-1 right now. I mean, the loss against the Packers, if Kyle Fuller makes 1 catch, we win that game. The loss against the Dolphins, if Cody Parkey makes 1 kick, we win that game as well. And our wins, have been, a lot of them have been dominating. So, the Bears, we have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Matt Nagy is a head coach of the year candidate, and I have us winning the NFC North Division and being the number 3 seed in the NFC. The number 4 seed in the NFC, I have being the Philadelphia Eagles, who are currently 4-4. I have them winning the NFC East Division, which is looking pretty ugly right now. and I have the Eagles getting to 9 or 10 wins, which should be enough to win that division. They have a couple tough games left. A lot of tough games left, actually. They have the Saints, they have the Rams, they have the Texans, Redskins twice. So it's going to be tough for them, but the reason I picked the Eagles is that they went to the Super Bowl last year, and they still have talent on both sides of the ball. You know, their defense, I don't really know why they're not playing as good this year. Could just be a Super Bowl hangover, but, you know, I trust Carson Wentz a lot. He's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, so he's going to take them to a lot of places. And overall, I just trust their roster a lot more than I trust the rest of the rosters in the NFC East. You know, obviously you got the Redskins leading right now, but I think that they're going to fade away in the second half of the season, especially when they play the Eagles. So, yeah, the Eagles I have being the number 4 seed in the NFC. Number 5 seed, the first wildcard spot, I give to the Carolina Panthers, who are 6-2 right now. I have them getting to 11 or 12 wins. They have some tough games left against the Steelers and the Saints twice. So those Saints games are going to be very crucial for the Panthers. But, you know, this Panthers team is a really good football team. Their running game is very solid. You know, Norv Turner, what he's been able to do with Cam Newton and this offense, it's been pretty special. You know, this offense is clicking on all cylinders. Their defense is looking pretty solid too. So I have them winning, you know, 11 and 12 games, being the number 5 seed in the NFC. And finally, the number 6 seed in the NFC, the last spots, second wildcard spot, I'm going to give to the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently 5-2-1 5-3-1. And they still have some tough games against the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Bears twice. So, you know, the Vikings, I don't really know what's happened to them because they have pretty much the same roster as last year, except they've upgraded at key positions like quarterback, and, you know, they added Sheldon Richardson as well, which, is he injured? I think he might be injured, or it might have been someone else. But, you know, the Vikings, they have a very good defense talent-wise, but they just haven't been able to put it all together. And I'm predicting they will be able to put it together later on this season. But, you know, I still only have them getting 9 or 10 wins because they've been very inconsistent. They haven't been beating, you know, good competition this year. So they're still a very good football team. They're still going to make the playoffs, but I have them being the number 6 seed in the NFC. Teams that just barely missed, I have, you know, the Washington Redskins. They're barely going to miss. The Seattle Seahawks, I mean, they could very well make the playoffs because of how good they have been recently, but I just think that their first couple games, you know, the losses they had in those, that's really going to come back to haunt them. And, you know, it's no shame for the Seattle Seahawks because they've been doing very good in what I thought was a rebuilding year. So hats off to Pete Carroll. And I also have the Packers just missing the playoffs. You know, the Packers, I think that they would not be a playoff team or even close to a playoff team if it was not for Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, I mean, the talent they have on both sides of the ball, it's not that much. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the only reason why this team is not going to go 3-13, you know, 4-12. The Packers really did him a disservice by not providing him with more help this year. So the Packers are not going to make the playoffs, but they'll come close because of Aaron Rodgers and how good he is. And yeah, that wraps up the NFC playoffs. So that's going to wrap up my video. As always, leave your comments down below. I want to know what you guys think about my predictions. You know, if you disagree with them, if you agree with them. You know, obviously, if you're a fan of a team that I don't have making the playoffs, you're going to disagree. But tell me why you disagree in the comment section. Don't just dislike the video. But you can if you want. I don't care. But yeah, so it's going to be a very fun second half of the season. This season has been very fun for me as a Bears fan, but also for other fans as well. Like the Chiefs, they've been just dominating. Patrick Mahomes is really good. You know, other teams like the Saints have been having a lot of success, and the Chargers, they're finally back in the playoff hunt. So it's going to be a very good season, and let's see how it plays out.